Hello everybody, my name is FIDE Master Gauri Shankar, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to beat players rated above 1,000 between 1,500 on chess.com. So I've written down these simple rules for you to follow, and I'm going to follow them in these games that you're about to see, and you'll see how the opponents, many of them don't really follow the rules and almost self-destruct. So watch the games, and I'll see you at the end. Okay, the first game is against a 1057 from Scotland. Play e4. We're going to stick to the fundamentals. Control the center, the pawn. He plays the modern defense, so we control all the squares with both pawns if we can. And now time to bring out the knights and the bishops. We'll do both knights first to the center, and now we'll do bishops. Now, in this one, I kind of want to do bishop e3 first and castle queenside. I'll explain why in a second. He plays c6. That's a weird move. And I'm thinking we could just play queen d2. And now comes the interesting move, bishop h6. It's actually a very typical way to fight against the fianchetto, because once they play castle, now I have two ways to do this. I can just trade, or we can go for the more tricky variation here, which is to go for a move h4. The point of this move is to play h5 and open the king side. They take, we take with the queen. And now they made a big mistake. We are getting a local superiority of force already with the queen being near the king. And to increase that by playing knight g5, creating a checkmate threat. And is this already a forced checkmate? I don't even see how they can stop it. Nope. And that's it. So all we did this game was develop our pieces, and we tried to remove their defenders of their king, and they made a big mistake by taking our bishop, and we got our queen in the game, and that was already game over. Now we're going to play against a 1084 from Brazil. d4, we're going to follow the classic d5, control the center with the pawn. This allows us to prevent them from taking over the middle and also opens the bishop for us. And now we do knights. I prefer to bring the knight near my king so I can castle fast. Ooh, that's a really weird move by the opponent. He's wasting time by moving the same piece again. So all I'm going to do is play bishop f5. My plan is before I play e6, I want to not lock in my bishop. Opponent plays this. So what is our rule number 5? Take the free piece. All right, with the knight. And he takes, and we take with the bishop, keeping our pawns nice and healthy. And we're looking for their threat, so we just come back. And we're already very happy because we're up a pawn. And now we continue developing. We want to develop our bishops and castle. So we play e6, so we can make a pawn chain, protecting everything. And then we can move the bishop and castle. Now, we can move the bishop to e7 or d6. I have a rule that I try to develop it to the most forward position possible because they attack better quality of squares from d6. So that's why I chose this over here. And we can see now we already have a threat. Queen h4 check would be a dangerous move here. And thanks to the bishop, if they block, we have a tactic. So we check here. They're not following the rules of developing and castling and watching out for threats. If they play g3, I can actually take the pawn, and thanks to the developed bishop, it helps us execute this tactic. It's called a pin. So they don't take our bishop. However, now their king is really, really bad. They're not even threatening to take the bishop, but we could preemptively just move this back just to make sure that everything is good. I don't want to take because then we're in a self-pin and we're stuck, and it's not worth it in that case. So we should go back. This. We're taking care of things before they become a problem. And then we just focus on taking the free stuff or continuing development. Knight b5. Does he have a threat? Not really. We're protected. So in this case, we should just develop our knight and make our own threat. He takes, we take back. It was a check after all. And we're still up 2 pawns here. They can't castle. They attack our queen. We were aware of this. Now I notice that we can take this pawn with the knight or the queen. Now, since I'm attacking his king, I should not give up my queen, even if it means winning his queen. So no trading. I can take with check. Now, if he attacks my knight, my queen and my knight will be in danger, but I can actually play knight f5 check, saving my knight. So I'm aware that my pieces are under pressure, but I can save them, even if he counterattacks. He doesn't counterattack, he just moves there. But this king is looking very suspicious. He wants to run away and hide here, and my queen is under attack. So if I go queen f4 check, he can't run to the safe side, and he needs to stay over here. But the farther he is from his side and closer he is to my side, the worse the king is. So now I can see that we can check the king, bring more pieces into the party. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces, and all these pawns also in the attack. So it's just a matter of looking at your candidate moves. So we have so many checks, captures, and threats here. So every single knight moves a check. There's a capture check, double check, fork, check, check. Honestly, just pick one that looks really good and make sure it's safe. This one. Okay, double check. He needs to go either here, here, or here, but every move is going to lead to disaster. So I wonder what he's going to do now. King a5. Coming close to my territory is not going to help. So once again, when you see that you have all these tactics, then you find your list of options. I can do check or check with the rook. Now, if we check with the rook, he can block, and then we can actually sacrifice the rook because then we can checkmate after that. The simplest move is to do this. Oh, can we castle checkmate? Guys, I think we could try. Here. There's a cool idea here. We could try for castle checkmate. Oh my goodness. This is going to happen? Okay, forgive me. I'm going to indulge myself a little bit here. Check. We need to sacrifice this rook somehow, though. Oh, this would be really cool if I could do that. Okay, we're going to go here. Giving up the rook. Oh my goodness. And then we're going to go here. And we're going to castle checkmate. That's so cool. Now, he could ruin our beautiful checkmate with this move. Castles and then block. And technically, this wouldn't be a castle checkmate. Oh no. Hopefully he doesn't ruin our beautiful picture here. He doesn't! Oh, that's so nice. Okay, we're now going to play against 1298 from Germany. We're going to follow the same principles. Control the center with pawns. And bring out the knights and bishops first. Like this. He's playing the Spanish opening. It's one of the best ones. Now it has transposed into a 4 knights. So I like this move in this position, knight d4, but that breaks the rules. So we're going to just play bishop b4. Knight d4 is a theoretical move. If you studied it beforehand, you can play it. And we're just going to continue with our castling. It's actually a copy opening, but it's very, very solid because there's no tactics. Okay, queen e2 played. So here, I noticed that he wants to take my knight and finally take this pawn. So we're going to protect that with d6, making a pawn chain. We're very solid. b3. Okay, what's next on our list? Do up the bishop. I see a really nice square for my bishop. This is one of the best pins you can have in chess. The pin against the kingside knight in the e4, e5 openings. Because a lot of times this bishop and this knight, they create a really nice attack together. Can you see the move? Yes, knight d4. I call this the monster pin. It's a good pin to know. If they take, they lose their queen. And there's so many threats with this knight. And when we take this knight, usually they have to take with the pawn and they open up their king. So a lot of bad things can happen to white here. Also, now we have other moves. So we can, in this position, I think we should go for a fork. The forking move is knight c2. I really like that. It's a fork in the hand. Let's just take it. Now, what positions should we be careful of when there are a lot of attacks and captures? So he's attacking our bishop, we're attacking their queen and their rook. So each move can be really, really good opportunity. So now I want to take the rook, but our bishop's hanging. So what we do is we take the knight, and we know that if he takes back our bishop, then we essentially saved our knight by doing a fair trade. Therefore, we win material. And I saw this, but our bishop can take the rook. And if we count everything out, we're actually up a rook in this position and completely winning. Okay, now it's a really good move. We can destroy their king's safety with bishop takes f3. And now we can finally go for an attack. So think of the local superiority thing. I want to bring my knight to f4 so I can have a superiority of force against the king. More attackers than defenders. Okay, see, now I can bring my queen in and checkmate. So this is called improving the pieces and creating a local superiority. He doesn't see the checkmate idea, queen g5. And it's going to be mate. There we go. So the monster pin is a really strong strategy, guys. As you can see, he should have played maybe h3 in this position to prevent the monster pin. But he didn't. He was oblivious to our ideas. And after knight d4, it was already lost. I wonder what our game review is going to give us. What percentage? It gives us a 95% accuracy and no mistakes. So that was great. Okay, the next game is going to be against 1006 from Italy. We're going to use our same principles. Control the center with pawns. And get the pieces out really fast. He plays a Scotch opening. So we will take the center pawn because we don't want to get rolled over by his pawns. Now he's going for this weird attack. Now this is the softest position in our pawns. They could try something like this, but it's really slow. So I wonder what happens if I just kick him out with h6. It seems like a decent idea. He sacrifices, but I don't think it's working. We just go here. Check. Okay, we had to be careful though. Our king is open, and we had to be very careful. So what are the ways to defend this? We can go here, or we can go here. Now, when we go here, we can hide over here. So that's actually a very decent spot. The only thing is, are we guaranteed to hide here? I think we are. We definitely are. But even this is not a mistake. So the calculation here is as follows. Here, check. Here, check, g6. You had to see this. And then if they check, we have bishop g7. So if you don't see this, don't play king g6. Play king e7. But I think we could play it. So I'm going to go here. So he might check us, thinking it's mate. But we're going to hide over here. And then he might check us again, thinking it's mate, but we're going to block. Yep, this is going according to plan. Hopefully it's a good plan. We had to think of other ways that they could try to pressure us, like bishop f7. Okay, he does what we thought he would do, and he's going to be in for a rude awakening because when you attack too soon and they defend, what happens a lot in chess is that the tables will turn and white will find themselves just all over the place and not developed. So bishop h6 doesn't work because I'm going to take with the knight. And I was going to play knight e5 and fork them anyway, but we're just going to take with the knight here, free piece. And we're up 2 pieces now. The early attack really failed. Usually you should build up your pieces and your forces first. I recommend that, and then attack. So he's in big trouble now. He has to move his queen somewhere. Everywhere is bad. We have a fork. They could move away, but then we trade. And trading is good when you're ahead in material because then they have less attackers and your pieces will stand out more. So we'll do that. Simple strategy. And now all we have to do is develop the rest of our pieces. Here I'm going to make a little exception. I'm going to play a move that you might think it's weird. d5. It looks like I'm losing a pawn, but what I'm doing is, since I have so much extra material, right? I'm up 2 pieces. I can give back a pawn just to have time to bring out my bigger pieces. So it's like if you're a billionaire, you can afford to spend a few millions just to have an easier life, quality of life, right? So you see, we sacrificed a pawn either to trade or to get all this free development. So in my opinion, one pawn is worth about 3 tempo in the opening. So we get all this attack for free, right? We get these checks and attacks. So we get time. So each move is at 1 tempo. So if you get 3 moves of momentum for sacrificing 1 pawn, it's worth it. And it seems like we're getting it. We got our rook out with a check. Now we're going to win back the sacrificed material with interest. He's another check. And then when he goes here, that's a mate, right? It's a fork mate. Wow.